Shabbat Shalom. It's so wonderful to see all of you. I hope that you've gotten over your turkey overdose, as they like to say, and had a good sleep last evening. And we joined together here this evening on Friday night to welcome in Shabbat. All of the pages that we'll be announcing this evening will be, just as a reminder, on the blue bracketed numbers. We're going to continue with the song Hine Matov. You can find it in the prayer book on page, I think it's 128, and I just put it in my service order wrong, 128. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet kulam gam yachad. 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 Our candles are the candle lighting is on page 120. We invite Dale Bergman to come up and lead us in lighting the Shabbat candles. No, just yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Light first.
Oh, sorry. I thought, never mind. Not with the program tonight. Come on, stay there. Okay, try that one more time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallowed us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you. We're going to continue with welcoming in Shabbat with Lechuna Ranana, the beginning of Kabbalat Shabbat, Psalm 95, found on page 130. Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai, Nari. Litzur Ishenu Nikadma Fanav Betoda Bizmirod Narialo Nikadma Fanav Betoda Bizmirod Narialo. Page 131. Shiru Ladonai Shir Hadash Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz Shiru
התבשרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו. יה לי לה לי לה לי, יה לי לה לי, יה לי לה לה לי, יה לי לה לה לי, יה לי לה לי, יה לי לה לי, יה לי לה 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 לה, יה לי לה לה לה, יה לי לה לה, יה לי לה 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 לה.
Bottom of page 132. Or zerua la tzadik ulishreirei lev simcha, simchat tzadikim badonai, vehodu lezecher kodsho. O God, light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. Please join me in the English on the bottom of page 133. A psalm. Sing to Adonai a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's right hand, God's holy arm has won God's victory. Adonai has manifested God's victory, has displayed God's triumph in the sight of the nations. God was mindful of God's steadfast love and faithfulness toward the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth beheld the victory of our God. Raise a shout to Adonai, all the earth. Break into joyous songs of praise. Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, found on page 134.
Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, bechatzotrot v'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, Yiram hayam umlo, tevel v'yoshvevav, neharot yimchahuchav, ayachar harim yiranenu, lifnei Adonai kiva, lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim b'meisharim, yiram hayam umlo, tevel v'yoshvevav, neharot yimchahuchav, ayachar harim yiranenu, yachar harim yiranenu.
Exalt Adonai our God and bow towards God's holy hill, for Adonai our God is holy. Psalm 29, page 136.
Mismo leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim. Mismo leDavid, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz.
Let's try that together.
Mismo leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim. Mismo leDavid, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. yay, die, die, yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yay, die, die, yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 die,
Page 137.
Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech, Et Amo Vashalom, Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech, Et Amo Vashalom. Yay, die, die, yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yay, die, die, yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech, Et Amo Vashalom, Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech, Et Amo Vashalom.
We learn in the Midrash that each day of creation was partnered. Days 1 and 4 are connected to light. Days 2 and 5 with water and the oceans. Days 3 and 6 with earth and vegetation. Yet the seventh day, Shabbat, had no partner. So God promised Shabbat that it would not be alone, and the Jewish people would be its partner. Therefore, as Shabbat begins, we go out to greet our beloved, like a groom would greet his bride. We continue with Lecha Dodi, found on pages 138 and 139. We will sing verses 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. And at the 9th verse, if you are able, we invite you to rise and welcome in the Sabbath bride.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamo v'zacho b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki v'kor haberacha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machashavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Ki va'orek u'mi'ori, Uri, Shir daberi, Kevod Adonai alayik nigla. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתכחי ומה תהמי, ואחייכסו עניי עמי, ונבנית העיר אל תילם. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בלם, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Now that you are standing, please remain standing. Please greet each other. Shabbat Shalom. Maybe there's someone you haven't seen in a while. Make sure that you say Shabbat Shalom. Introduce yourself to someone new. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat. May be seated. We have one final psalm to conclude our Kabbalat Shabbat. It's found on page 140, Mizmor Shir.
Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat.
Try that with me.
Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat. 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 Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir liyom HaShabbat.
Now, having concluded our Kabbalat Shabbat, we transition with the Chatzi Kaddish found on page 144 to our evening service, to our Arvit Lev Shabbat, page 144.
יתקרל ויתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי המיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא, ואמרו amen.
We rise for Baruch Hu, our prayer for community, found on page 146.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated. As we just changed back our clocks almost a month ago, or at the beginning of this month, we joined together on page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim, page 150.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta, otanu lemadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, u'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה נהגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל
Page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We're going to continue together with the reading on page 159. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Our freedom song, our redemption song is found on page 158.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלם, האוספל מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים דהליאנו ואמרו יא לי לה לי לה יא לי לה לי יא לי לה 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 לי יא לי לה 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 יא לי לה לה יא לי לה 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 לי ונאמר כבן אדוני ליעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Our prayers touch on many different aspects of a life. Hashkivenu is a prayer that asks God to give us that shelter, that sense of peace as we end our day before we slumber. We continue on page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamitenu shomreinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamitenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmot tzitenu uvoenu lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamitenu shomreinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamitenu shomreinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamitenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmot tzitenu uvoenu lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And we have one more song that ends our Shema u'Virchotecha v'Shamru, found on page 162.
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת
continue with the Tefillat Amidah. We will do the first opening blessing together, and then we will continue silently all the way through page 180. Please take time for your own prayers, and then feel free to be seated. We rise.
תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalalai, lalai, yalalai, lalai, yalalai, lalai, yalalai, lalai. Yalalai, lalai, yalalai, lalai, yalalai, lalai, yalalai, lalai. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. We take a moment in our service to offer prayers for those who are in need of healing, whether it is illness, whether you are dealing with addiction, whether you are in the time of grief. As I look around the room, if you have a name that you would like to offer, I invite you to say so
think of members of our congregation, Richard Kennemer, Jack Long, Don Grin-Gorton, Bruce Roberts, Stuart Mass, Howard Levine, Alfreda Massman, Diane Siegel, Francine Pack, Jill Becker, Gail Frankel, Melanie Weil, Scott Van Gundy, Ed Stein, Stu Baker, Victoria Spiller, Debbie Pink, Jill Jacknow, Dave Stahl, Lonnie Goldman, Richard Ravitch, former member of Shir Hadash, Adam Kaufman, Ian Ballard, friend of Allison Turner, Franklin Wolfson, son-in-law of Susan Deniston, Marcille Cunningham, the mother of Liz Herman. The Mishaberach is found on page 371.
Mishaberach avotenu mekol habracha limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekol habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, healer of all those who are ill. So the rabbi that I grew up with at this time of the service used to say, close your books. So I invite you to take a second to close your books. So our Torah portion this week is Toldot. Rebecca is pregnant with twins who are fighting within her womb. Vayomer Adonai la, shnei goyim bevitnech u'shnei leumim, mime'ayich yiparedu, ul'om mil'om ye'ematz, v'rav ya'avod sa'ir. Which is from Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. And the Eternal answered her, 2 nations are in your womb. 2 separate people shall issue from your body. One shall be mightier than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. Esau is born first, with Jacob entering the world, holding on to Esau's heel. This rivalry that began in the womb continues as they grow older. Esau was a hunter, and Jacob was content to stay close to home. One day, Esau returns from hunting and is famished and asks Jacob for food, offering his birthright as payment. I am guessing many of us have been in a situation where we might promise something and know that the person that we are making the promise to won't really take us up on our offer. But that wasn't the case here. The Torah continues. Isaac is dying, and he wants to bless his oldest son. Rebekah conspires with Jacob to trick Isaac that Jacob is Esau and steal the blessing of the firstborn. This is the second case of sibling rivalry that we have in the Torah, the first being the story of Cain and Abel, and that one didn't end so well for Abel. Esau is angry that Jacob has taken his birthright and this blessing that was rightfully his. And the blessing that was given to Jacob says that Esau will serve his younger brother. Vayistom Esav et Yaakov al habracha asher bercho. Aviv vayomer Esav, belibo yikrevo yimei Evel avi, ve'aharga et Yaakov ache. Now Esau harbored a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing which his father had given him. And Esau said to himself, "Let the mourning period of my father come, and I will kill my brother Jacob." It is hard to fault Esau for being angry. After all, Jacob stole the blessing that was to be his. But when we are angry, we have a choice of how to channel that anger. We can pick ourselves up and live life as if the blessing had been given to us, or we can hold a grudge. Grudges have a way of being destructive, not to the person that we are angry at, but to ourselves. Holding in anger can lead to depression and potentially bad behavior or bad choices. And there are no winners in this relationship. Each of them go off in their own directions. Esau goes to the family of Ishmael, Abraham's other son, and Jacob goes to Laban, his mother's father. What might have happened if the brothers had taken the time to talk it out? Lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha, from Leviticus 19, verse 17, begins with the words, "Do not hate your brother in your heart." Or HaChaim, a classical commentary on the Chumash, written by Rabbi Chaim ben Moshe ibn Attar, back in the 17th century, said, "The Torah urges us that if we harbor some resentment against a fellow Jew, not to bottle it up in one's heart, saying nothing but hating the Jew in question. One has to come out with one's feelings into the open. Beficha, and rebuke the person who one thinks as guilty of having badmouthed him or otherwise hurt him to cause such hatred. Hocheach tochiach, rebuke him even repeatedly. Velo tisa alav chet, so that you will not bear a sin on account of him. Do not assume in your heart that whatever it is the other Jew has done to cause you to hate him, that he has done purposely, that he continues to feel hostile towards you. Give him the benefit, or her, the benefit of the doubt, and discuss the matter with them. The discussion could lead to one of two possible results. One, he may explain to you that he had a good reason for what he did, so that there is no reason to hate him. Or two, he may change his attitudes towards you, undertaking not to continue his hostile conduct. As a result, he becomes your friend and your brother, concludes the Or HaChaim. It is an interesting idea to think about Jacob and Esau taking the time to talk about what occurred between them. When Jacob takes the blessing from his brother, there is no mention of the fact that Esau already gave him his birthright. In essence, that birthright would entitle Jacob to now receive the blessing. We can make an assumption from the text that Esau wasn't thinking about having passed on his birthright when he finds that Jacob has deceived their father and taken the blessing. If they had taken the time to talk at that moment, then they wouldn't have held a grudge against each other for many years till they meet again. And when they meet, Jacob is fearful about Esau's reaction. Having these types of conversations are difficult. It is hard to tell someone they have done something that hurts you greatly. Even if they didn't do it on purpose, it has still injured you. When we hold grudges, it can eat us up inside. It can become reflected in everything that we do, even if that is not our intention. Having the conversation and talking through the conflict, even if it ends with agreeing to disagree, can help relieve us of the guilt and the anger that lives inside of us when we hold a grudge. I found this wonderful story that illustrates the importance of talking things through so that we don't hold on to something. This can give us closure and not allow us to hold on to it till it develops into a grudge or even to missed opportunities. The tale is of two monks and a woman, which is a well-known Buddhist parable. The story goes that two monks were traveling together, a senior and a junior. They came to a river with a strong current where a young woman was waiting, unable to cross alone. She asks the monks if they would help her across the river. Without a word, and in spite of the sacred vow that he had taken not to touch women, the older monk picks her up, crosses, and sets her down on the other side. The younger monk joins them across the river and is aghast that the older monk has broken his vow but doesn't say anything. An hour passes as they travel on, then 2 hours, then 3. Finally, now, the quite agitated younger monk can no longer stand it. Why did you carry that woman when we took a vow as monks not to touch women? The older monk replies, I set her down hours ago by the side of the river. Why are you still carrying her? And if you want to know what happens to the relationship between Jacob and Esau, you will have to come back next week. Shabbat shalom. Our service is going to continue on page 588 with Vahashevota, and I'm going to ask if Leah and James will come and help me open up the ark. Please rise. All right, ready? Somebody get the curtain.
V'hashevota, hashevota, el levavecha, ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim, Elohim, v'hashevota, v'hashevota, el levavecha, ki Adonai, hu ha-Elohim, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, v'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom ha'hu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Thank you. You may be seated. If you are in the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. If you are in the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. One more, Jerry. Shal. If you are in the cycle of the first year of mourning, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. And if you have a yortzeit this week, an anniversary of someone's passing, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. The congregation offers its condolences to Eric Stone and Benjamin Stone on the loss of their mother and grandmother, Edna Stone. Lauren Janovich, Michael Clark, Janet Wall, Charlene Kilgore, Ezra Sati Sachi, Gideon Hofer, Alvin Kramer Siegel, Vlasta Vijanovich, Galina Butorina, Karen Imbalzano, Lillian Berman, Robert Bruce Myers, Abraham Karras, Scott Safadi, Norman Green, Marilyn Silverman, Leslie Heinal, Paulette Sofin, David Green, Jenny Porish, Estelle Abrams, Spencer Caney, Arthur Cherdak, John Ivers, Marilyn Handelman, Kay Dameron, Nira Marome, Andrea Cameron, Ziba Feruzin, Rosella Newton, Linda Sherry, Fred DeCastro, Sherry Skihan, Larry Eisen, Harry Gross, Michael Tubb, David Schwartz, Rhoda Fryman, Eliad Foner Lipsitz, Ron Wolk, Adina Neer, Tamara Noten, Mimi Levy, James C. Price, Colette Kaplowitz, Rita Smith, David Corman, Anna Sklarski, Claire Sobel, Harold Butch Blake, John McIntosh, Miriam Flight Sobel, Ron Leiter. And now you can support our community by standing or sitting, as is your custom, and joining us with your voices or your hearts. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulamaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei kudisha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the memories of your dear ones always be a blessing in your life and to all of your loved ones. Yehi zichram baruch. You may be seated. And we have a few announcements. So all of our announcements, of course, are highlighted on the back of your handout. I'm only going to highlight a few of them. You can also find all of this information on our website. There is Torah study tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. in the chapel, and that will be followed by Shabbat morning services here in the sanctuary at 10:30. On Thursday, December 1st at 11:30 a.m., we have Nashim, Remarkable Jewish Women Lecture and Lunch, and you can continue to register for that on the website. Couple upcoming things that we'd love for you to save the date for. Sunday, December 11th at 10:15 is our congregational meeting. Friday, December 16th at 6:15 p.m. will be our Hanukkah service, a tad bit early, but bring your Hanukkah. We'll all celebrate Hanukkah a little bit early. And then that weekend also is a lovely Hanukkah festival of fun. Check our temple calendar for the confirmation of that date. And one more piece of information that I want to give you. On Tuesday, January 10th at 7:00 p.m., we will have a special conversation with author Daniel Sokach. His book is called Can We Talk About Israel? You can take it with you on your vacation if you're taking one this December, and then come meet the author in January and discuss his book. And for that, you can register on the website. We're going to invite up Robert Bergman for Kiddush. Kiddush is found on page 122. And before Robert does that, I am going to do Vayechulu. Hold on one second.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lemikroe kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'achata v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim.
L'chaim. Haven't had wine in a long time.
Or at least Manischewitz. So at this time, we invite you to stand up, to join with your families or your friends, so that no one this evening is standing alone. So please rise. May God inspire us to all be like the parents of Israel. Yisimech ke'Ephraim u'Menashe, ke'Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May God bless us and protect us. May God's light shine upon all of us. May God be gracious to you, and may you find within you God's presence within you and be given the gift of peace.
Shalom, shalom, ve'asem lachem shalom, shalom, ve'asem lachem shalom, 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 ve'asem lachem shalom, shalom, ve'asem lachem shalom.
Let's try that together.
Shalom, shalom, ve'asem lachem shalom, 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 ve'asem lachem shalom, 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 ve'asem lachem shalom, shalom, ve'asem lachem shalom. Yivarechechem Adonai v'yishmerechem, Yaher Adonai panav elechem v'chonechem, Yisa Adonai panav elechem v'yasem lechem shalom. Shalom, shalom, v'yasem lechem shalom, 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 v'yasem lechem shalom, 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 v'yasem lechem shalom, shalom, v'yasem lechem shalom.
Adonai oz le'amav yiten. Adonai yivarech et amav. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, shalom, ve'asem lachem shalom, 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 ve'asem lachem shalom, shalom, ve'asem lachem shalom.
Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. So we'll join together for those of you who are able to join us in the owner room.